Look at this world. Really look. What do you see? Do you ever feel like the weather outside your window? Sometimes calm, sometimes a storm you didn't ask for. A relentless grinding force that doesn't care about your plans. And what does the soft world tell you about these storms? That your pain is an error. That everything is going to be okay if you just think the right thoughts and avoid any discomfort. All lies. They market your comfort. They sell you weaknesses. They tell you to build a life out of bubble wrap, hoping the sharp edges of reality will just go away. Like you can simply wish the storm away. And look at the result. A generation of men adrift, afraid of conflict, terrified of judgment, crushed by the slightest setback, seeking approval like a drug. Their strength drains away into endless, ineffective niceness. They break. Oh, how easily they break. This channel is not for them, not the ones content to crumble. This is for the few, the defiant, the ones who feel the deep, ancient call to build something hard inside themselves, to become something the world cannot shatter, like mountain stones against the wind. For thousands of years, men have sought the secret to inner power, not power over others, though that may come, but power over themselves, over their fear, over their weakness. The Stoics, not soft thinkers reading books in quiet rooms. These were men who lived the battlefield, statesmen, slaves, emperors, soldiers, men who saw empires fall, fortunes lost, endured betrayal, exile, torture. They felt the storms of history tear through their lives, and they found the bedrock. They discovered the laws, the iron rules of reality that, if you bind them to your soul, make you unbreakable, like a seed waiting out winter, knowing the storm will pass, leaving fertile ground. Stop searching for shortcuts. Stop wishing things were easier. Grab your hammer. We're going to engrave these laws onto your soul. I'm going to explain this in a way that cuts through the noise. Simple, director, like showing you how a river carves stone, slowly, powerfully, inevitably. Because frankly, most modern men need it. Explain that simply. The first law, the bedrock, understand control. Imagine your mind is a fortress made of stone, solid, immovable. You, your consciousness. You are the king, ruling from the highest tower. Outside that fortress is everything else. The external world, the weather, the storms you see on the horizon, the sudden rain, the unpredictable gusts of wind. Think about the real weather. Can you, standing inside your house right now, control the hurricane raging miles away? Can you tell the lightning where not to strike? Can you stop the wind from howling? Number, it's insane to try. It's a waste of every ounce of your strength. The weak man exhausts himself, raging at the uncontrollable weather. He screams at the storm as if his volume could change the wind direction. But what can the king of the fortress control? He controls everything inside his walls, his thoughts, his judgments about the weather, his values, his immediate reaction to the storm hitting the walls, his decision on whether to open the gate or reinforce it, his actions within the fortress, how he trains himself and his internal guards. That's your attention, your focus, what is inside of you. The Stoics hammered this home. Focus 100% of your conscious energy on what you control, your judgments, your intentions, your actions, your character. Everything else, other people's opinions of you, whether they praise you or curse you, the promotion you didn't get at your workplace, the project that failed because of someone else's screw-up, the economy of your country, your past mistakes, the unpredictable future. This is the weather, the external chaos that you cannot command. You cannot control these things. Trying to is like trying to grab smoke. It will only leave your hand empty and your spirit drained. The power is in knowing the boundary. Draw the line in the sand. Inside the line, my thoughts, my effort, my response. Outside the line, everything else. Practical example, simple, an insult. Someone calls you a name's weak man reaction. He instantly feels rage, shame. He reacts to the weather, the insult. He lets the arrow pierce his soul and immediately stab his inner peace. His fortress was breached by a single word. Ironbound man reaction. The word hits the wall. He registers it as weather. Judgment. An insult. Control. His response. Does he lash out? Does he laugh? Does he ignore it? The Stoic king inside his fortress observes the weather, makes a calm decision based on his values, and the insult has no power over him. It's just noise outside the walls. Practical example. You put months, maybe years, into a goal. Building a business, training for a competition, creating a relationship, and it fails. Completely. Maybe not even your fault. A sudden landslide on the path you were building. Weak man. Response. It's not fair. Why did this happen to me? They ruined it. He is consumed by the external outcome, the failure. He blames everything and everyone. He lets the storm outside shatter his internal world. His sense of self, his worth, was built on the sand outside his fortress, dependent on the weather. He was defined by the landslide. Ironbound man. He feels the pain of the loss. He acknowledges the weather was brutal, but his focus snaps back to his fortress. Okay, the external outcome failed. That was the weather. Control. What were my inputs? What did I learn? What is my next decision? How do I rebuild my internal strength from this? His worth was never dependent on the structure outside, but on the quality of the king and fortress within. He wasn't defined by the landslide, but by how he chose to clear the debris and find a new path. This is freedom. When your happiness, your peace, your power is locked safely inside your fortress, the chaos outside becomes just noise. It's still there. It can still cause damage to things outside, but it cannot break you, not the real you. Master the no one law. It's the wall. Without it, the rest is useless.
The second law, premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They will tell you this is negative, that you're manifesting bad things. That's a lie designed to keep you soft and unprepared. It's leaving your fortress garrison untrained and hoping for eternal sunshine. The Stoics were brutal realists. They knew life isn't a fairy tale. They knew winter always comes. Betrayal, loss, sickness, failure, death. These are not possibilities. They are inevitabilities over a long enough timeline. So what does the iron-bound king do? He prepares. He doesn't hope the fire won't come. He imagines the fire. He walks through it in his mind. This isn't dwelling. It's mental training. It's psychological inoculation. You sit in the quiet of your own mind and you ask, what is the worst thing that could happen today? This week? This year? You visualize the loss. You feel the sting of the potential betrayal. You imagine the public failure. You look the worst-case scenario directly in the eye, in the safety of your mind. And when you have walked through the fire in your mind, when you have faced the lion in the arena of your consciousness, when the same misfortune appears in reality, its power is stripped away. It loses the element of surprise. It's no longer a terrifying unknown. It's just the scenario you already trained for. This builds profound resilience. It's like a boxer who spars against opponents faster and stronger than his actual fight. When fight night comes, the real opponent feels manageable, like the cold you dressed for. Practical example, you're in a relationship you value. Weak man approach, lives in fear of it ending, avoids difficult conversations, clings desperately. refuses to think about the possibility of loss because it's negative. When the inevitable challenges come, or if it ends, he is shattered. He had no mental preparation for loss. He built his happiness on the assumption of eternal summer. Iron-bound man approach values the relationship, gives it energy, law 1 action. But he also trains for winter, law 2. He contemplates, what if this ends? Could I endure that? What would I do? He faces the idea of loss, not to want it, but to know he could survive it. This paradoxically makes him less clinging, more present, more resilient. When challenges hit, he's thought about hard conversations. If it ends, he grieves. Yes, he's human. But he doesn't shatter. He returns to his fortress, damaged but intact, and begins the next step he already mentally sketched out. He weathered the storm and knows he can endure the cold.
Practical example, financial security. You have savings, maybe investments. Weak man assumes the graph only goes up, panics at market dips, lives in constant anxiety about losing money. He doesn't mentally prepare for recession, unexpected expenses, or job loss. When the market crashes or he loses his job, the shock is total. He is psychologically wiped out because he never contemplated this winter. Iron-bound man builds his fortress, saves, invests wisely his actions. But he trains for winter. He thinks, what if the market drops 50%? What if I lose my income for 6 months? What would I cut? How would I survive? He runs the scenarios in his mind. He has contingency plans, not just financial, but mental. When the crash or job loss comes, it's a harsh winter, yes, but he put on his mental layers. He knows he can endure. He enacted a plan he already rehearsed. He doesn't wish away the cold. He knows how to survive it. This isn't pessimism, it's power. By facing the darkness in advance, you drain it of its ability to surprise and paralyze you. You are forging not just a strong mind, but a mind that is ready for impact. This is Law 2. It's the armor that sharpens your sword by imagining the fight. It's preparing the land for whatever comes. The third law, the apex, amor fati, to literally love your fate. This is where you ascend. The soft world teaches you to fight reality, to complain about what is, to be a victim of your circumstances. My parents messed me up. The system is rigged. I had bad luck. They see obstacles as reasons to stop. They see pain as punishment. This mindset is a cage. It makes you weak because you are constantly fighting against reality, the fight you can never win. The Stoic master, the iron-bound king at this level. He looks at everything that happens to him, the good, the bad, the brutal. It's unfair, and he says, good. Why good? Not because he enjoys the pain, but because he understands it's necessary. It's the exact heat, the exact pressure, the exact hammer blow he needed to be forged into something harder, sharper, more resilient. Amor fati is total acceptance. It's saying, okay, this is the hand I'm dealt. This is the fire I'm in. How does this make me stronger? How do I use this? How does this serve my forging? It turns obstacles into the path, problems with fuel, wounds into wisdom. Everything that happens to you becomes power within you. It means the problem is the exercise, the hardship is the training, the struggle is the strength. Practical example, a devastating betrayal, a friend, a partner, someone you trusted deeply lied to you, cheated on you, abandons you in your time of need. Like the ground giving way beneath your feet, weak man feels like the world ended, drowns in bitterness and self-pity, becomes cynical and closed off. I'll never trust anyone again. He is defined and permanently damaged by the betrayal. It becomes a chain that limits all future interactions. He fights against the reality that the betrayal happened. Iron-bound man feels the intense pain, acknowledges the injustice, Learn the brutal lesson about judgment, trust, and human nature. He doesn't resist the fact that it happened. He embraces it as brutal data. This was the cost of that lesson. He asks, how does this betrayal force me to become wiser? How does it force me to rely more on myself? How does it clarify who belongs in my fortress? He uses the experience, the pain, the fact of the betrayal as fuel to sharpen his discernment, strengthen his inner resolve, and clarify his boundaries. He is forged by the betrayal, not shackled. Practical example: physical pain or injury, something that limits you. Weak man complains constantly, focuses on what he can't do, gives up on goals because of the limitation, becomes a prisoner of his body's current state, wishes he was normal again, fighting against the reality of his injury. Iron-bound man feels the intense pain, acknowledges the injustice, learn the brutal lesson about judgment, trust, and human nature. He doesn't resist the fact that it happened. He embraces it as brutal data. This was the cost of that lesson. He asks, how does this betrayal force me to become wiser? How does it force me to rely more on myself? How does it clarify who belongs in my fortress? He uses the experience, the pain, the fact of the betrayal as fuel to sharpen his discernment, strengthen his inner resolve, and clarify his boundaries. He is forged by the betrayal, not shackled. He used the collapse to find stronger footing. This is the ultimate power: to look at the fire, the storm, the betrayal, the failure, the pain, and say, thank you, you are making me. To embrace everything that is. To stop fighting reality and start using it. Law number 3. It's the engine. It turns lead into gold. It turns suffering into unstoppable strength. These are the 3 pillars, the ancient laws, simple enough for a child to grasp, powerful enough to rebuild a broken man. Law 1. Control your fortress, your mind, your actions, your character. Let the external weather rage. Law 2. Train for winter. Premeditate chaos to strip its surprise. Build your armor before the battle. Law 3. Love your fate. Embrace everything that happens. Use the fire, the storm, the obstacle as fuel for your forging. This is the blueprint for being iron-bound, for standing unmoving while the world attempts to shatter you. It requires relentless self-honesty. It requires facing fear. It requires doing the work every single day. You will stumble. You will fail. The weather will be fierce. But with these laws, you have the tools. You have the understanding. You know how to use the fire to forge yourself harder. You are not here to be soft. You are not here to be fragile. You are here to be tested, to be hammered, to be hardened. If this truth resonates deep in your bones, if you feel that ancient fire stirring within you, if you're ready to stop whining about the weather and start building an impenetrable fortress, click subscribe, ring that damn bell. Join the men who understand that the greatest power comes from within, the men who look at the abyss and build their empire there. The weak die silent, the strong rise here.